there, guys. Welcome back to the Fibre Nerd podcast. My name is Allison Barnes, and I am the indie dyer for Allison Barnes Yarn, and I am coming to you today from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where I live with my husband and my son and my three cats, Wicket, Cricket, and Kennedy. Today is Monday, May 28th, and if you are a new viewer to the podcast, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thanks for coming back to see this latest episode. I know it's been a little while since my last one. 2 weeks? 3 weeks? I don't remember. But a lot's been going on around here. We just had the Edmonton Fibre Frolic on Saturday, and that was our second annual, and it went really well, and we got lots of great comments from people who visited for the first time and the second time, because we've grown a lot since last year. We had double the vendors, we were in a bigger venue, we had a food truck and a coffee vendor, and so much yarn and fiber and accessories. It was amazing. So if you made it out to the Edmonton Fibre Frolic this year, thank you very much for coming. And if you want to know more about the Edmonton Fibre Frolic, you can follow us, because I'm one of the coordinators. My friend Jessica is the other coordinator. If you want to find out more about the Edmonton Fibre Frolic, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as Edmonton Fibre Frolic. We also have a website called edmontonfibrefrolic.com, and the email is edmontonfibrefrolic@gmail.com. Okay, that was a big mouthful, and I'll probably talk about the frolic some more a little bit later in the podcast, but there's lots to go over today because it's been a while. So I guess off the top of the podcast, I want to let you know that we do have a Ravelry group for the podcast called Allison Barnes Yarnies, and there is a knit-along currently happening, and it is ending in about a week. The last day to get your entries in is Sunday, June 3rd, and I will be hopefully drawing a winner on the podcast on Monday, June 4th. So make sure you get your entries in, and good luck, everybody. I am really close to being done my Sunshowers Shawl. That's what we're knitting for the Cal. I have it here. This is the sample that was knit by the designer, whose name is Ines Sang, and she used 2 skeins of my hand-dyed yarn in a couple of my spring colorways, and this first color is called Hush, and it is a blue and gray and speckled, and the second color is called Tiptoe, and it is yellow and gray speckled, and it has a beautiful picot bind off, and the texture on it is really pretty. So I will show you my own shawl in just a minute, but if you are a speedy knitter, then by all means join us for the Cal. The only requirement is that you knit the Sunshowers Shawl in any yarn you like. Just get your finished objects posted to the Ravelry group so that we can see them. Okay, yeah, I didn't make show notes because I've had such a busy morning. There are lots of things going around the Barnes household this week. We're getting our roof redone. It was either going to start today or tomorrow, and you can't hear any noises banging above me, so it's obviously not happening today. Maybe it'll happen tomorrow. The shingles were delivered on Friday, and yeah, so what else is new? I dyed my hair pink again. It's been a while since it's been this bright pink, but I dyed it pink for the frolic, so it would be fun. And I got this side cut really, really short, and I left this side a little bit longer, because why not? Hair's fun. My son had green hair last week for Spirit Day at school, and their classroom randomly selected the color green for their class's spirit color, and he loves green. It's his favorite color. So we sprayed his hair green. He wore a green shirt, green pants, green socks, green underwear, and I think if he could have had anything else green on him, he would have. But their class won a smoothie party because they had the most spirit. So that's pretty exciting. He wanted to have green hair for his smoothie party again, and I declined. I said, no, you can do that on another spirit day or for Halloween. What's been going on around here? Some of you may have heard of something called Me Made May, and that is where you make things or wear things that you've made. I got a chance to do a little bit of sewing on the last couple of weeks, and I made myself a pair of leggings. It's been a while. They've been cut out. The fabric's been cut out for a while, and this is what they look like. And the pattern is called Pegs. I think they're just called Pegs. And it's a pattern by Patterns for Pirates, and I haven't tucked in my ends from my surgery yet because I lost my darning needle for a little while. But I made purple leggings, and they fit really well, and so now I want to make gray leggings. They're like a yoga pant style that has slim legs, not a flared leg, because I trip over flared leg pants. It can't take me anywhere. This top is not a me-made top, but it's a me-dyed top. I ice-dyed this top last summer. I only used one color of what's it called? Fibre reactive dye, and this is a cotton blend top. And the color broke into these really cool, you can see like pinks and darker blues and lighter blues and a little bit of gray in it. And it's one of my favorite comfy tops to wear around the house. And so that's my Me Made May. What have you made lately? Have you done any sewing, or have you been crocheting or knitting anything? Did you finish anything? Did you make any garments? Let me know in the comments below. Shall we move on to some knitting content? I think we will start with some... I don't have an FO, but I have a hoe. I have a sock. I have one sock. I finally finished my prong sock, my first prong sock. The pattern is by NICOLE BRACEY, and it is designed using my hand-dyed yarn in my basic sock base. And the color that she used for her sock sample was my Prairie Frost colorway. And I used my, what's this one called again? Sigh. I used my Sigh colorway. It is a green and gray speckle. And you can see it's got this cable that runs down the top of the foot. And don't look too close because I made a mistake in a couple of places. It actually fits quite nicely. But now that I've done one of them, I don't really feel like doing the other one. This is just going to be a shop sample, and the rest of the yarn I'm going to make up into some minis so that I can crochet it into my scrap granny stripe blanket, and I'm going to give a mini to my friend Ashley for her granny stripe blanket. But if you like this color, it's available in the shop right now, and on both basic sock and single ply worsted, I think. Where is it? Yeah. It's available on those two bases. Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about this. I use the size of needles that the pattern called for. I used it was more like a 9.75 inch circular 2.5 millimeter needle. And I like the fabric that it created. I just wish that the needle had been a little bit shorter, closer to a 9 inch, because then I think then it wouldn't have stretched so much while I was knitting it, and it would have been more comfortable knitting it in the round. So, yeah, that's my prong sock. Now, the only other things I have are some works in progress. So, since I finished one sock, I started a new sock, and it took me a while to get this sock started because I had been waiting for my local yarn shop, my local yarn store, the Fibre Nook, to get some more 9-inch circulars in stock. And they carry the Xiaogu 9-inch circulars, and that's what I've used in the past, and I do like them a lot. They are a true 9-inch. They are called 9 inches or 23 centimeters circumference, whereas the ones I used on the prong sock were 25 centimeters circumference. But this is the sock I started. I decided to do just a little shorty sock, so I've got about 10 rows of a 2x2 rib. I cast on 64 stitches. Then I did 4 rows of stockinette before starting the heel flap. And my heel flap is just a standard slip stitch heel flap turn, and then I did my decreases, and I just finished the decreases, so now I'm onto the foot. And yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm using a 2.5 millimeter in the Xiaogu to see if I like the fabric that it creates, because the last pair of socks that I made, I used a 2.75 millimeter needle on 9-inch circulars, and I found that the socks do fit when you first put them on, and then they start to get slouchy fairly quickly. So I'm just wearing them as house socks. I would like to get a better fit, so I'm trying the 2.5 millimeter for this pair. And then if I need to, I also have a 2.25 millimeter needle to try again. I tried it quite some time ago to see if that improves the fit. So hopefully this summer I can find my perfect sock recipe so that I can actually finally dig into some of my favorite indie dyed sock yarn that I've been hoarding for a little while. I'm just saving it until I know how I like to knit my socks before I feel like I don't want to waste it. I want socks that fit, you know, and I have a lot of nice sock yarn to use, but I'm not ready to commit to that just yet. The next thing I'll show you is what should I show you? Oh, before I forget, my sock is in the kitchen sink shop drawstring bag. It's got a cute burlap bottom, beautiful designer cotton top, and the drawstring, which is my favorite because I like going like this. And I actually like carrying this as just a little purse, so I've got my sock in it, and sometimes I'll throw my phone and my keys in it when I'm going to pick up my son from school, because I just walk to school. And it makes just a cute little purse. Okay, in my own handmade project bag, I have my Sunshowers Shawl, and I have some progress to show you. I'm going to try and get it out here without getting tangled up. So I started the shawl in my Sea Turtle Fiber Arts color, and then I finally got to add my Poppy Yarn and Fiber. This is a Stellina base, and I call these little shapes the belly buttons. So I did the first set of belly buttons, and now I'm doing the contrast stripe. And I think I have another 2 rows left of the contrast stripe before I do the second set of belly buttons, which is smaller. And then after that is the last little bit of the contrast and the picot bind off. So I should really knit on this today, because there's only less than a week left in the knit along, and I'd feel bad if I didn't finish it in the time for the knit along, because we had 2 months. That's plenty of time to knit a shawl. So I'm gonna really try. I'm gonna really try. So do I want to say anything else about this? I learned a lot from this pattern. I still consider myself to be a fairly, I wouldn't say new knitter. I'm not really a beginner knitter, but I've never done very challenging knits, and this one challenged me a little bit, and I really appreciate that in this pattern. Otherwise, you know, you get bored when you're knitting, right? I get bored when I'm knitting. If I want to knit something simple, I'll just do a sock or a stockinette sweater, which is what I'm going to show you next. My Backshore by Alicia Plummer, I cast off the body, and then I picked up the stitches on the neckline and I cast off the neckline. So I just have sleeves to do. This is it. And it fits amazingly. It goes just to the top of my hip, which is just what I wanted, because I know when I wash it and lay it out to dry, because I'm not going to like block it, I'm just going to wash it and lay it out to dry so that the yarn blooms, and because it's a merino, I know it's going to grow a little bit. So it'll grow a little bit longer, but then it won't be like super duper long. It'll just stay about hip length, which is awesome. And this yarn is so soft, you guys. I am using my own hand-dyed yarn. This blue one is called Faded Denim, and this is a DK weight superwash merino. And then this speckle is by Haven Fibre Arts, and it is also DK superwash merino. And I have almost very close to 2 complete skeins left for the sleeves. So what I did was I weighed each skein, and then I'm going to start the first sleeve and knit until I'm halfway. Well, I'll keep weighing the balls as I knit, and then once I've reached the halfway mark, I'll bind off and then I'll do the other sleeve. So that's my plan. So I'm not actually sure how long of a sleeve I'm going to make with these. I don't necessarily want full length sleeves. I think I'd like about elbow length, because that to me is a kind of a comfortable sleeve length, and you don't have to push it up all the time, because I do push my sleeves up a lot. I'm not considering to make this sweater for winter, so that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily want full length sleeves. So I need to finish the shawl first, and then I will do the sleeves of this. And then I will work on my dad's sweater some more, which I didn't bring today. And then I bought some yarn at the Frolic for a garment for my mom, which will happen after like 2 more projects or something like that. But it's good to have a plan, right? Okay, so that's that. Great knit, beautiful pattern. I've seen the Backshore knit as a solid color. I've seen it knit into skinny stripes. It's just a good overall pattern to knit. Creates a great shape. It has the shaping in the back, so it's a little bit higher in the back, a little bit lower in the front. It's not revealing, because I'm not the kind of person that likes to have like low cut tops or anything like that. You know, I don't like to show cleavage, not that I have any, but I do like to have my chest covered. It just gives me comfort, it keeps me warm. It's like wearing a shawl. It's like wearing a shawl like this. I'm sure you noticed this shawl when you first turned on the podcast. This is the Katie shawl by Cozy Up Knits, and my friend Ariana knit it for me for a shawl shop sample. And I have to say that I love it. For this shawl, we used 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, my hand-dyed yarn, and this color is called What a Peach. It is a speckled. You can kind of see the speckles. And the green is called Spruce Tree. It is a very dark, almost teal green, and they look beautiful together. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the contrast. Love the contrast. It's a very easy shape to wear, an asymmetrical triangle. I find asymmetrical triangles and triangles are the easiest to wear. Yeah, and it's very big. It's longer than my my wingspan. It's probably twice my wingspan. Well, it's like 1 3/4 wingspan. That's pretty big. So soft, so beautiful. Ariana said it was pure joy to knit. So if you're looking for a fun shawl pattern, and you have 2 skeins of yarn, fingering weight yarn, you should try the Katie Shawl by Cozy Up Knits. And if you want these exact colors, I happen to have some in the shop. So remember, it's Spruce Tree and What a Peach on Basic Sock. That's the yarn that we used for this. So, shall we talk about stash enhancement? Okay, I just have a little bit of stash enhancement because the Fibre Frolic was so incredibly busy for me. I was one of the organizers, and I was also running my own booth without a helper. Although there were many volunteers around, if you needed help, like just watch my booth for me while I take a quick bathroom break or grab some food or water, no problem. They were wonderful. Our volunteers were amazing. I didn't have time to shop, and that made me kind of sad because there was so many wonderful things there. I really, really wanted to get a beautiful project bag from So Shannon, who makes these gorgeous bags. They have a frame, like a metal frame, built inside. So when you open it up, it kind of just opens like this. It's like one of those old-fashioned doctor's bags. And anyway, I just didn't have an opportunity to get one. And she actually sold out of a lot of products at the Frolic, so yay for her. So what I did yesterday was I messaged her on Instagram, and I looked through her catalog of items that she posts on Instagram, and I said, do you have these fabrics available? And she said yes, and then I ordered 3 bags. So those will be made for me, and I will get them sometime maybe the end of June. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those. I ordered 3 very different looking bags. I may or may not keep all of them, but for sure I'm keeping one because it has birds on it, and I like birds. That's really cute. So, I did buy some yarn at the Frolic. I bought from a vendor who was kind of across from me and a couple booths down. Her name is Stephanie, and her company is called Knitley Road, and she carries some yarn bases that you just don't see everywhere. You know, everybody has a merino nylon or a merino cashmere nylon or just straight merino. She carries like a Polwarth, I can't say that, Polwarth cheap wool. And she had like a silk merino, and the one that I bought is baby alpaca, silk, and linen. And it's called KR for Knitley Road. Luxe Linen, 51% baby alpaca, 25% linen, 24% tussa silk. It is a fingering weight yarn, and the colorway is called Olive. And this is it. So, what I was thinking of doing with this yarn, at first I thought, well, if I get 2 skeins, I can probably knit myself a Tegna, one of those knitted t-shirt tops with the fancy lace at the bottom. It's a little bit longer. Has shorter sleeves, like maybe like here. It's a very pretty top. And I was looking at a different color. I was looking at a pink, and she only had 2 colors left because my friend Betty bought the other pink. But then I saw this green and I started thinking about my mom, because my mom likes this color green. Her house is pretty much this color green. And so I think I'm going to knit my mom the Tegna. I'm just going to say Tegna because that's how I say it. And the linen blend, linen and silk, would be really great for warm weather because they winter in Arizona. So I thought a nice light top in a linen silk blend would be really nice to wear down in Arizona in the winter and here in the summer when they're back home. I do not know when I'm going to cast this on because I have excuse me, I have my Backshore to finish, the Sunshowers Shawl to finish, my dad's sweater to finish, I have another cardigan that I want to cast on for myself, and then maybe I can do this one. So this might be like a 2019 project, I'm not sure. But I'll get it to her eventually. That's the plan. It's really nice. It's because of the linen, it feels kind of rough. Kind of. But from what I understand with linen is that the more you work it, the softer it gets. So even just what I might do is hand wind it into balls to use, and then maybe rewind it, or maybe cake it and then hand ball it. I don't know. But the more you work it, the softer it gets. So if I can work this up and try and soften it before I even knit it, then maybe it won't feel so rough to wear against the skin when I give it to my mom. I might just play with it a little bit. It's really nice. So that was my only purchase from the Frolic. Now at the end of the day, I had a little surprise. At the end of the day, Shelly, I think her name is Shelly, from Polka Dot Creek, who was one of our vendors at the Edmonton Fibre Frolic, came up to me as I was starting to pack up my booth, and she stood in front of me and held 2 sock sets, one in each hand, and she said, "Pick one." Really? Yeah, pick one. You know, like a thank you gift. So I picked this one. It's called Rave. Can you tell why I picked it? It's got pink and blue and like all the rainbow colors. So this is amazing. Thank you so much, Shelly. So you should check out her shop because her colors are amazing, and there are many, many colors on there that I would definitely consider even sweaters quantities worth. I just can't fit any more on my shelf right now. I have to knit some more yarn. But I'm looking at your shop, Shelly. Thank you. Go check out Polka Dot Creek. She's based in Airdrie, Alberta. And this is really nice and soft. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 100 grams, 463 yards, fingering weight 4 ply. So it has a nice round strand that will be lovely to work with. You know what would be really cool? Is if I did 2 pairs of shorties, and one with this color contrast and one with this color contrast. That might be cool. So that's going on the shelf with the super nice sock yarn until I figure out my perfect sock knitting technique up there on that shelf up there. Another little gift that I got before the market even opened was from Ruben and Angie of A&R Designs, and it's this little keychain that says create. Ruben is a woodworker, and can you see the shine? It's kind of been painted. And this is their logo, A&R Designs, and they're from Leduc, Alberta. And at the Fibre Frolic, they had different wood wood turned items. They had yarn butlers. They had a new item that looked really cool. It's a yarn swift, like an Amish style swift that sits on top of the yarn butler. And so you can wind your ball of yarn and it spins really smoothly around. And then they had other things there that were made from wood. But Angie also sews these like kind of scrappy looking baskets or bowls. She also does like placemats, trivets, rugs, really cool stuff. I have one of her bowls, but I was not fortunate enough to pick anything up from their booth at the Frolic, or even really get a good look at the things that they had in their booth. So but you should follow them on Instagram. They're A&R Designs. I will put all the information that you need in the down bar, of course, like I usually do. So I think all I need to talk about next, I think it's just shop update news, and it's not a typical shop update. It's more like a quantity update. After the market, I came home and I went through the inventory and I updated quantities in my online shop because some things sold out and some things that I had dyed leading up to the Frolic were still available and in fact had been out of stock on my website, but now I have extras. So I'm going to show you what is not new in the shop, but what has extra quantities of since the last time the shop was updated. So let's see. I have some granite gray on my classic DK base. I have log driver's waltz on basic sock. It has those speckles in it and it's all over kind of mocha brown color. I have a couple skeins of flowers in your hair, sand in your toes. That's on basic sock. I have a few skeins of dirty cowboy on basic sock. That one looks pretty rough and needs to be retwisted. I have a couple skeins of raspberry cheesecake on classic DK. I think actually there's 3 skeins. And I have boots or hearts on basic sock. There is, I think, a fair bit of coral on basic sock and chartreuse on basic sock, and I really like these two together. So if you wanted to make something like the Katie shawl, I think this would make an amazing Katie shawl. I'm just gonna go through my bin here because it's right beside me. I have some hot toddy on basic sock. I think there's about 2 or 3 skeins. This one's been in the shop for a while, but I don't know that I ever showed it to you guys. It's called Shag Carpet, and it is on Classic DK, and there are 4 skeins in the shop. That would make a really awesome sweater or a giant shawl. I have a bunch of Murmur on basic sock, and I have Hush and Tiptoe on basic sock in the shop right now as well. Now, speaking of these 2 colors, I do have some yarn and pattern kits going into the shop soon, so keep an eye out for that. I just haven't created the listing and taken pictures and that kind of thing, so that's going to be in the shop soon. If you want to buy one of each of these and just leave me a note and say I'd like the pattern, please, I will give you a download code to Ravelry for that. Because I haven't put the kits in the shop yet. So speaking of kits, I do have 2 Hanami Shawl kits ready to ship in the shop. So what you get in this kit is a Ravelry download code for the pattern and 2 skeins of silver gray and 1 skein of Whisper on basic sock, and that is what you need to make the Hanami Shawl by Ines Sang. Thank you, Ines, for working with me on both the Hanami Shawl and the Sunshowers Shawl. I can't wait to do more with you. These patterns and the shawl itself were well received at the Edmonton Fibre Frolic. Now, there is one more kit I wanted to talk about because I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the podcast before. But last year I did a collaboration with NAOMI of NAOMI Grace Designs. It's a little bit hard to see. It's called Whispers in the Wind 2. Okay, this is her fingering weight version. She used 2 skeins of my fingering weight yarn in the color What a Peach to knit that shawl. And I do have kits available on my website. So if you go to my website and just search for patterns, you will see all of the pattern kits there. And they come with a download code for Ravelry for the pattern and the yarn that you need to make the pattern. And as always, if you are in need of knitting needles to go and knit your patterns, I do have those on the website as well. And I think they're still on sale. And speaking of sales, I have a coupon code for you guys. I am very pleased to let you know that I am one of the featured vendors on the FibreShare website where you can get a discount from my shop. The discount code you can use in my shop is I Love FibreShare, and that's good for 15% off your purchase until June 25th. And there is no limit to your purchase total. There's no limit to how many times you use the coupon code. Anywhere around the world you can use the coupon code. So please feel free to use it, not only for your FibreShare partner, but even just to treat yourself. So I think that's it. There's no shop update this week. Everything's been updated for quantities. If you don't see something that you really wanted to get and you want to get it in time to use the FibreShare coupon, I will be doing dyeing over the next few weeks, so just send me an email at AllisonBarnesCollection@gmail.com and let me know what you're looking for. I do realize that some colorways are sold out, and so I will be working on getting some of those added. But if I don't know that you need something, or you need a specific quantity of something, I don't want you to be disappointed, so please send me an email. Okay, that's it from me, guys. I will see you next week. Have a great day. Bye.